Welcome to The Exchange, where curiosity meets critical thinking. I'm Dr. Brox, your friendly neighborhood skeptic with a soft spot for starlight.
And I'm Terabyte. Today, we're lighting a candle against the darkness, diving into Carl Sagan's The Demon-Haunted World. It's not just about science. It's about learning how to think.
Exactly. Sagan called science a candle in the dark, and that's what we'll explore. How skepticism and wonder can work together, not against each other.
So grab your curiosity, keep your Baloney Detection Kit handy, and let's begin. This is where we take a big stack of material. It could be research, articles, key books, and we pull out the core insights, the things you really need to know. Today, our mission is, well, pretty foundational. We're diving into Carl Sagan's The Demon-Haunted World. Science is a candle in the dark. We're looking at key excerpts. And this isn't just about facts, it's about getting a handle on a way of thinking. A toolkit, really, to help you cut through all the noise out there.
Yeah, that title alone, The Demon-Haunted World, it really sets it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He dedicated the book wishing his grandson a world free of demons and full of light. And it all comes back to that old saying, it is better to light one candle than to curse the darkness.
That candle.
Yeah.
Well, for Sagan and for us today, it's the scientific method. So the goal is to really understand that critical approach needed to, light the candle against ignorance. Okay, so let's start there. How do you actually develop this way of thinking? The material we looked at traces Sagan's own journey, and he found that scientific thinking isn't just one thing. It's two modes of thought, kind of living together uneasily, as he put it.
Right. It starts with wonder. He talks about visiting the 1939 New York World's Fair. Amazing stuff there, like exhibits where you can supposedly see sound and hear light.
Wow.
And that just sparked this incredible sense of awe, pure amazement. That's the engine, the curiosity.
But the sources are clear. Wonder by itself isn't enough. It can just lead you to believe anything. So the other pillar is skepticism.
Yeah.
How do you balance that? How do you stop the skepticism from just snuffing out the wonder? They seem like they'd fight each other.
Well, that's the magic, isn't it? The coexistence. Skepticism is the reality check, the test. Wonder is what keeps you asking questions, what drives you forward. For Sagan, this really clicked when he learned specific tools, especially from his mentor, Kuiper. Kuiper taught him the back-of-the-envelope calculation.
Right, I read about that. It's like a quick check.
Exactly. A really fast, physics-based estimate. You use it to test an idea right away. Ask yourself, does this explanation even come close to explaining the problem? Is it in the right ballpark? If it's way off, you just drop it. Don't waste your time. Sagan said it cut through nonsense like a knife through butter. It's like your first line of defense, that practical skepticism.
And it wasn't just about science in a vacuum, was it? The source mentions his education at the University of Chicago. It sounds incredibly broad. Physicists had to study Plato, Aristotle, even Bach and Freud.
That's right. The idea was that science isn't separate. It's woven into the whole gorgeous tapestry of human knowledge, as Sagan put it. It's all connected.
That makes sense, that universal way of thinking.
Yeah, and that context is important because it leads right into the next big idea. That science, because of how it works, can actually be seen as dangerous.
Dangerous? How so? Oh, right, because it questions things.
Precisely. The sources say it's dangerous to doctrines that are less self-critical. Because the fundamental rule in science is mistrust arguments from authority.
Doesn't matter who you are.
No. Authorities, experts, everyone they have. To prove their claims, just like anybody else, evidence is king.
Okay.
And this isn't just a suggestion, it's built into the process, into what the source calls the gauntlet of criticism. Think about defending a PhD thesis.
Oh, yeah. Not fun, I imagine.
Definitely not. It's described as a withering crossfire of questions. Or look at how scientific journals work, anonymous peer review. The reviewers are supposed to look for flaws. They're asking point blank, did the author do anything stupid?
So the system actually forces you to be your own toughest critic first. You have to find the holes in your own arguments before someone else does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, pretty much the opposite of how many institutions work, where the goal is often to protect the core beliefs, not challenge them.
Right.
And that self-correction is how science moves forward. The best example is probably Newtonian physics. I mean, an absolute giant of intellectual achievement, right? Works perfectly for everyday stuff.
Yeah. Building bridges, throwing a ball.
But it turned out to be, well, an approximation of the truth.
Because it breaks down in certain situations.
Right. At very high speeds, or near really strong gravity, Newton's laws don't quite work. That's where Einstein's special and general relativity come in. The key thing is, science didn't just dig in its heels and defend Newton. It actively looked for where the theory failed.
It sought out its own limits, that willingness to say, we might be wrong here, or this is incomplete. That's the core difference.
It really is. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Which leaders of major religions or even political ideologies publicly say, our foundational beliefs might be flawed or incomplete, and then actually set up groups to find those potential errors.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
That willingness to hunt for your own mistakes is what truly sets the scientific method apart.
So, because that kind of self-scrutiny is so demanding and maybe rare, it kind of explains why pseudoscience seems to thrive so much. The source puts it bluntly. It's just easier to contrive than science.
It skips the hard parts.
Yeah, it avoids those messy, distracting confrontations with reality.
Exactly. It doesn't need rigorous testing or evidence. Instead, it taps directly into really powerful human emotions and needs. Things like, spiritual hunger, desperate hopes for cures, the deep wish that death isn't really the end.
It tells us what we want to hear, that we're important, that there's a grand plan.
It reassures us of our cosmic centrality and importance. And when we're feeling vulnerable or lost, it's very tempting to just let go of that heavy burden of skepticism, as Sagan calls it.
And the result is, well, you see it everywhere, this global wave of belief in things without evidence, often latching onto old ideas.
Yeah, like Atlantis. The story goes way back to Plato, but now you get these new age twists with crystal technology, crystals, reading minds, building pyramids.
Right.
And the crucial point the source makes is, nothing approximating evidence is offered to support these assertions. It's just stated.
And it's not always harmless fantasy, is it? The source gives examples like French officials pouring millions into a scam about finding oil from airplanes, or in Thailand, people taking pills made from crushed holy texts to cure diseases.
It has real consequences, wasted resources, potential harm. It's not just quirky beliefs.
So where does this tendency come from? A lot of it seems to boil down to how our brains work, right? Our pattern recognition ability.
Absolutely. We're amazing pattern detectors. It's a survival skill. But we're so good at it, sometimes we overdo it. We see patterns even when they aren't really there.
Like the man in the moon. I never thought of it that way. It's just craters and shadows from ancient impacts, but we see a face. Or that story about Soviet scientists seeing Stalin's face in radar images of Venus.
Exactly. Our brain is trying to make sense of noisy data, and sometimes it imposes familiar patterns, like faces. The classic scientific example is the canals on Mars.
Ah, yes. Percival Lowell and the canals.
Right. Back in 1877, astronomers started mapping these intricate networks of straight lines on Mars. Hundreds of them. Geometric. Looked artificial.
Leading to huge speculation.
Oh yeah. Theories about a dying Martian civilization building massive canals to bring water from the poles. It seemed like solid observation of multiple astronomers seeing these lines.
But it wasn't real.
Nope. Decades later, when probes like Mariner 9 and Viking got close-up looks, not a trace of canals. Nothing. It was basically an optical illusion.
What caused it?
It seems to have been the human eye and brain straining to see detail at the absolute limit of what telescopes could resolve, looking through Earth's fuzzy atmosphere. They connected random dots into lines. They saw what they expected, or perhaps wanted, to see.
That connects really well to the whole alien abduction thing. Even the term flying saucer was apparently a mistake, wasn't it?
It was. Kenneth Arnold, the pilot who first reported strange objects in 1947, said they flew erratically, sort of like a saucer skipped across water.
Ah, the movement.
Right. But the press reported it as the objects being saucer-shaped. And boom, that created the visual template, the cultural icon that's dominated UFO reports ever since.
Wow. A simple misquote shaped decades of belief.
And what's really fascinating is how the details of these abduction stories, things like aliens gliding through walls, invasive examinations, often sexual in nature, how closely they mirror much older beliefs.
Older beliefs, like folklore.
Exactly. Specifically, historical accounts of demons. Things like incubi, demons said to seduce women in their sleep, and succubi seducing men. The core elements, paralysis, strange beings, violation, are remarkably similar. It's like the narrative framework is ancient, just the costumes have changed from demons to aliens.
And our own minds can play tricks on us too, especially under stress. The source mentioned waking hallucinations.
Yeah, it's surprisingly common. Something like 10 to 25% of perfectly normal people have experienced a vivid waking hallucination at some point in their lives. It feels completely real.
What triggers them?
It could be lots of things. Intense stress, lack of sleep, sensory deprivation, even just certain changes in brain chemistry. The experience itself feels undeniable, even if it's generated internally.
Which makes things like hypnosis tricky for retrieving memories of these events.
Extremely tricky. The American Medical Association itself warns that memories brought up under hypnosis are often unreliable. Why? Because you're in a state of heightened suggestibility.
Meaning you might unintentionally adopt the hypnotist's ideas.
Precisely. The patient might end up genuinely believing a memory that's actually a blend of their own experience and a therapist's expectations or leading questions. The conviction feels real, but the memory itself might be distorted.
Okay, so we've got our pattern-seeking brains, cultural narratives, emotional needs, media mistakes. It feels like we're swimming against the tide, trying to think clearly. How do we fight back? This is where the Baloney Detection Kit comes in, right?
Yes, exactly. It's Sagan's toolkit for skeptical thinking, a set of guidelines anyone can use.
What are the key tools in the kit?
Well, first, you absolutely need independent confirmation of the facts whenever possible. Don't just take one source's word for it.
Makes sense.
Second, actively encourage real debate, substantive debate, with knowledgeable people representing all sides of the argument. Avoid echo chambers.
Here are the counter arguments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what about that sort of Darwinian rule for ideas?
Ah, yes. Spin more than one hypothesis. Don't just fall in love with the first explanation that pops into your head.
Come up with alternatives.
Right. Think of several possible explanations for something. And then, this is crucial, you have to systematically try to disprove each one, including your favorite. What's left standing after that tough process is the most likely to be true.
Not necessarily the one you like the most.
Definitely not. Comfort is irrelevant to truth. And a huge part of the kit is learning to spot logical fallacies. The book lists tons of them, common in advertising, politics, religion, everywhere, really.
We need some examples to make them stick.
Okay, a classic one. Post hoc, ergo propter hoc. Fancy Latin for it happened after this, it was caused by this.
Because B came after A must have caused B.
Exactly. The source gives the example of cardinal sin, claiming a 26-year-old woman looked like she was 60 because she used birth control pills. There's no evidence of causation presented, just the sequence. That's the fallacy.
Got it. What about using fear?
That's the argument from adverse consequences. Basically, saying something must be true, because if it weren't true, the results would be terrible.
Like saying a vengeful God must exist, because otherwise society would collapse into chaos.
Precisely. You accept the conclusion not based on evidence, but because you fear the alternative.
And the one that seems everywhere in politics, the false choice.
The excluded middle or false dichotomy. This is when someone presents only two extreme options as the only possibilities, when in reality there's a whole spectrum in between.
Like you're either with us or against us, or either you love your country uncritically or you hate it.
Exactly. It shuts down nuance, shuts down actual thought by forcing you into one of two boxes.
So these tools, this whole kit, it's not just academic. The sources argue it's vital for navigating the world today, that the stakes are higher now.
Much higher. Sagan wrote that the consequences of scientific illiteracy are far more dangerous in our time than in any that has come before. Think about the massive issues we face.
Like climate change?
Climate change, ozone depletion, managing toxic waste, population growth. These are huge, complex problems requiring scientific understanding. And beyond that, our entire economy, jobs, industries, future growth, it all relies heavily on science and technology.
But are we equipped? The stats mentioned in the source material were, well, worrying. The U.S. ranking last in algebra among similar nations.
Yeah, and that anecdote about a major electronics company finding 80% of job applicants couldn't pass a fifth grade math test, that's sobering.
Yeah.
It suggests we're not producing enough people with the basic quantitative reasoning skills needed.
And there's a connection made between this lack of critical thinking and societal control, isn't there? Going back historically.
Yes, a powerful one. The source references the pre-Civil War American South, where slaveholders deliberately worked to keep enslaved people illiterate. Why? To annihilate the power of reason.
Because literacy and critical thinking are empowering.
They saw it clearly. Reading, thinking for yourself, questioning things that's dangerous, indeed subversive in an unjust society. Knowledge is power, and withholding it is a tool of oppression.
So bringing it all together, there's a deep link between the scientific way of thinking, questioning authority, demanding evidence, and the way a healthy democracy should function.
Absolutely. They're almost indistinguishable sometimes. Citizens in a democracy need that ability, that willingness to question those in power, to hold them accountable, to check if they're actually working for the people's benefit. That skepticism isn't cynicism. It's a vital civic tool.
It's the candle in the dark.
It is. And the amazing thing is, using that candle, pursuing that understanding of how the world actually works. It doesn't make the world dull or mundane. Sagan insists it does the opposite. Understanding nature invariably elicits a sense of reverence and awe.
The more you know, the more wonderful it seems.
Exactly. The reality revealed by science is often far more intricate and, yes, awesome than any myth.
So the big takeaway seems to be that doubt isn't a weakness. It's actually our most powerful tool. But it takes work. It takes patience. It's necessary to wait for the evidence before jumping to conclusions. We need to resist that urge to just go with our gut feeling because it's easier.
Right. Which brings us to a final, really interesting point to leave you with. We've established that science is, the magic that works. It gives us real tools for understanding and survival. But pseudoscience, it speaks so directly to those deep emotional needs science doesn't always address. The need for comfort, for meaning, for assurance that we matter in the cosmos, that there's something beyond death.
Yeah, we understand why people hold on to beliefs in things like angels, demons, and afterlife. It meets a profound human need for solace and certainty, especially when facing hardship or loss. So, the question is, knowing this, understanding the psychological roots, should we maybe soften our criticism? Should we hold back when people find comfort in beliefs that lack evidence? Or does being silent, does that kind of polite assent, risk creating a climate where skepticism itself is seen as rude? Where science is just considered boring and thinking hard about things is somehow, stuffy or inappropriate?
It's a tough balance. Where do you draw the line between compassionate understanding and upholding the value of critical thinking for society as a whole? Something for you to think about. And that brings our candlelight conversation on the demon-haunted world to a close. Carl Sagan left us with a reminder that science isn't just a body of knowledge. It's a way of thinking, a candle we can carry into any dark corner of ignorance.
That candle still burns, but next time we're lighting a slightly different fire. We'll be diving into Christopher Hitchens' God is Not Great, How Religion Poisons Everything. Expect a sharper edge, a bit of controversy, and plenty of evidence-based debate.
It's a fitting sequel, really, from Sagan's gentle skepticism to Hitchens' intellectual hammer.
Bring your curiosity, your critical thinking, and maybe a fire extinguisher.
You've been listening to The Exchange, where wonder meets reason.
And remember, question boldly, test everything, and never stop lighting candles.